All right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 78, and we're doing Blue Owl Brewing's Bob's Great Porter.
Is that not an alliteration? What is that called? Blue, yeah, an alliteration when it's like all the same
Oh,
consonant.
is it an alliteration?
I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm
maybe
gonna
it might
have
have
to
been the
Google that.
Bob.
But
Yeah,
Blue Owl
it's like,
Brewing Blue
yeah,
Owl Brewing Bob's Great Porter.
yeah. That's like, it's like the she sells seashells down by the seashore type thing,
Correct. Or
which I obviously just messed that up pretty bad.
yes. So it is. I think we've actually Googled this before. So this is
Probably.
deja vu. Welcome back officially.
Yeah,
But
it's like we
yeah,
never left.
the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. So sweet bird sang, alliterations. What? That's not a fucking alliteration. How are you going to use that as the definition for alliteration?
Sweet
Hmm.
bird sang.
Sweet bird sang? I don't feel like that fucking.
That doesn't feel right at all.
No. Alliteration examples.
Sweet
I'll work. Oh,
cerulean bird.
yeah, see, potential power play.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good one.
Picture perfect,
Wow,
money
and that one's
matters.
that one's one that's said pretty often. Potential power play.
Yeah, and that's pretty potent. That's a potent
Yeah,
potential power play
it
alliteration.
is. It
Quick
is.
question. Rusty Brown Blazer rules? I don't know how that one fucking works. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. So, Blue
Yeah.
Owl Brewing's Bob's Great Porter. I think
Yeah.
both of us we mentioned right before we clicked the old go button that we purchased it for a number of reasons, but
Mm,
I didn't realize it was called Bob's.
No, me either. I just saw Great Porter on the can whenever we got it.
I,
Obviously it's a porter. Not much really
yeah.
else to say there. It comes in at 5.5 ABV with 32 IBUs. So
But she's going to be a little bitter,
she's gonna be a
and
little
she's going to
bitter.
have a little bit. She's going to have a little bit of punch to her, but also, I don't know, dude. They're always so sweet to me, and so I imagine they will continue to be sweet. Real quick though, because I mean, obviously, we're going to blow this wide open, but
Oh yeah.
like, pretty legit can. We're gonna
Oh
talk
no.
about. Oh, dude, I got a little splashback on the old screen
Oh
ski, but
no.
yeah, um,
Oh, what a
yeah, we'll talk
comeback.
about what a comeback.
Man, it's so rusty. So rusty. Um,
Yes.
no, yeah, the can is great. The can is the main reason we got it, and we decided to make it our first one back because it's got fireworks on it. And it's kind of like our New Year's episode, even though it's 2 weeks out from New Year's, or a little further now. But you know,
Um,
porters to me they're like a sweeter stout, right? That's
yeah.
what they always taste like to me. And I'm kind of in the mood for a stout right now because it's absolutely freezing outside where we are at. And
Indeed.
stouts always kind of warm me up a little bit because they're another stout. But this is 5.5, so it shouldn't really be, you know, too warm. But
Uh,
it'll give me the same feeling,
I
same
also want to
flavor.
make a minor correction. Absolutely freezing outside for where we're at, but like if there happens to be a listener, I don't know,
In
possibly
Kansas
it is
City.
just like above Kansas or like above Iowa or like anywhere north of the most southern point essentially in the United States. It's also going to be extremely cold there. So it's
Yeah.
not that cold, but it's cold enough for us. It's kind of like when we get that first cool front and like sometimes it happens in September. Um, like we'll get that little cool front, and everybody's like, "Make chili!" Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, "Fuck yeah, drop to 70 degrees, make a chili." That's how I feel about this time of year with porters. So I'm glad or stouts or
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
brought
yeah.
that the reason you brought that up.
Both of them. It's kind of, yeah. That first wind chill hits, you're like, let's get a stout. Come
Yeah,
on. Let's get it. All right, let's get into it. It smells
yeah, let's do it.
delicious.
Yeah, it does. Had
It
a
smells
pretty, really
delicious.
decent head. It was a little bit thin, but very, very dark. Very, very dark. So here we go.
Mm. Oh yeah. Well, you know, I don't want to give too much away, but
Yeah, I mean,
I enjoy it. I still love
I
the Cheers mug, man. It's gonna be iconic
I
for two
do
reasons
enjoy it,
though.
but do you have both of them? What?
No. Well, for Cheers and then for this podcast now, you know.
Hmm. Um, so here's the thing. I don't know why, but initially going in, it gives me the Guinness Zero vibes.
Oh God, no.
I know. Um, it finishes a little better. It's not nearly as bitter as I thought it was going to be, and it's not nearly as sweet as sometimes they end up.
No,
So,
it's not very sweet.
I mean, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I'm not at a loss, I wouldn't say, but I would say that I'm definitely. I think my mind's playing tricks on me a wee bit. Um, but I don't hate it. Let's see if it changes the way it
Hmm.
sits. What are your initial thoughts? I mean, obviously we don't have
Hmm.
to send her home right now, but
No, yeah, obviously we're not going to get into the actual things now, but it's been a while since I've had a porter in general,
Mhm.
but I'm enjoying it. I don't it doesn't give me Guinness entry at all.
Really?
So I don't know what's going on there with you. Do you have COVID or something? What's going on?
No, I don't think so. I just I
You lose your
that's
taste
I
buds because the Guinness was just water.
mm, yes, it's
You
got more
know.
taste than that, but the initial intake kind of gives me that
Mm,
watery Guinness vibe. It's okay for us to disagree. I don't think it's going to change or it's going to uh like over time it's going to taste different to me. It's just where I'm at, man.
kind of like a little. You mean like on the entry, it's like a little flat, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But that's. I mean, to me, that's kind of not how like all porters are that I remember, but like that's just kind of how this style of beer is to me. You know what I mean? Like,
It's it's got a couple of things going originally right out of the gate. It's got a couple of things going for it. I'll share those at the end. Um, but it would be difficult for me not knowing a whole heck of a lot about um, Blue Owl aside from it being in Austin. So shout out to the great state of Texas. There's not going to be a whole lot for me to talk about outside of the branding. That's kind of how I feel about it right now. Just going
mm,
off my initial intake. It's not
yeah.
like I'm gonna just dwell on the fact that it's the most amazing fucking thing to ever enter my mouth. Um.
Okay. Yeah. Um.
Anyway,
Yeah. So let's. I mean, you showed the can off, but it reminded us real, real big time about like a Great Gatsby style
oh yeah,
almost.
so black on gold. In fact, which I think is pretty nifty. So I mean, gold on black. Okay, the can
Mm.
also is fairly like embossed too. It has like a texture to it.
Oh,
Another
really?
thing that I think, yeah. Like I mean, it's not like extreme, but there's definitely more than like a Miller Lite can or something like that. Um, but yeah, very great Gatsby, 1920s, 30s. I don't know what the fuck when the fuck that was. I might have put
I
that
think
in
it
the
was the
wrong place.
20s. It was during the. I
Okay.
think it was during the Great Depression, wasn't it?
I mean, he was an asshole if it was. You know what I'm saying? All that
Oh, he
cash
very much
money.
was. Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, just beautiful, like very simplistic. You got the silhouettes, the fountains. I don't know what Bob's alludes to. Maybe we can do a little bit of research on that. But one thing that I think is extremely cool from a branding perspective is there's only one color on this whole can, and it's the O. The O, I don't know if you can see it, but the O is green
Yeah.
inside the owl, which is pretty nifty.
And it's cool.
Um, because I believe that most of their branding is oh no, their branding is blue. But yeah, I wonder if it's a seasonal because of the way that
This
it's
this is this is a fall
okay.
winter seasonal.
Gotcha.
Which kind of checks out right with what we were saying. When this kind of time rolls around is when I usually get that craving for like a stout or a porter or something like that. So it makes sense to me.
Dude,
But
they
yeah,
have
the can is what caught our eyes, and that's literally why we got it.
so dude, it's crazy because there's a lot of Bobs. Like I guess apparently it's that Bob must work there or Bob must be important to them because there's a rhubarb
Oh, really?
seltzer. Yeah. I would love to know who Bob is.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's interesting.
Blue Owl Brewing.
Ah, there you go.
Oh
That's
man.
That's a little less fun. I was hoping for a little bit of a like Easter egg. You know what I mean? I guess it's kind of an Easter egg, but
Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
is, but I mean, it's pretty.
Interesting.
I'm glad that we put the two and two together, but that's pretty cool.
Well,
It's
we
like
didn't.
butter
You
on.
did.
Well, I mean, dude, I'll give you some cred. I wouldn't have looked at the website had you not made me purchase the can.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's
Dude,
true.
Bobtoberfest, Bob's Eastside Juicy IPA, Bob's Fine Pilsner,
Oh
Yezeray,
yeah.
Bob's. They got a Kolsch, Bob's Cold one. Oh, I guarantee you that's just a straight up lager.
Oh
What
man,
about Bob?
The Bobtoberfest can is sick.
Oh yeah.
That's clean. We're just sitting here talking about this stuff as if people listening can see it. If you want to see what
Anyways,
we're seeing, go check out the website. It's actually pretty cool. They got some good stuff. This is the first Blue Owl Brewing beer I've ever seen. I think I didn't even know this was a brewery until
I
literally
didn't eat.
yesterday.
I didn't either. And I would say this, like there's two takes to beer, right? I feel like there's those beers that are just they're in an ugly ass can and but they're just
Mm,
delicious. The world has found out about them and they're
yeah,
delicious, so people buy them anyway. And then I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that we obviously knew nothing about Blue Owl Brewing. But immediately we saw the can and we were like, fuck yeah, we got to try that.
yeah,
So you're doing
exactly.
something right.
The branding is working. The marketing is working at least.
Yeah, I will say I obviously I don't want to allude to anything. Maybe I'll save it for later, but like I'm definitely not going to chase this one down, I don't think.
Oh well, again, I mean porters really aren't my favorite beer in general, so I probably wouldn't either. But seasonally, maybe when the time comes around.
So speaking of seasonal and being back,
Yeah.
fuck dude, I'm not getting any better with the segues. Not
No,
even
that
close.
one was pretty good. If you just wouldn't have mentioned it, I think it would have rolled.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
if there's one thing that should have been added to my resolution, it should be work on transitions.
Yeah.
Work on segues. But anyways, so welcome back.
Yeah.
What has transpired since we signed off last? What's been going on? What's been going down?
Well, I mean, obviously, freaking Christmas and everything, right?
Yeah.
All the festivities. We got to, or I got to go on a little 3 day vacation down to Galvey for a little bit, which was nice.
Nice.
I hadn't been down there really in years. Well, not years, but down there for a long period of time like that for years. So that was nice. Man, I finally broke down. For the past year or so, I've been struggling real bad with my eyesight. Uh, Not necessarily. I'm nearsighted, so I can see close, but things far away were very difficult. And I broke down and finally went and got some glasses, and it's been incredible. My life was changed immediately. I went and got them from. So I went to America's Best, which is advertised everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, so first of all, very
I'm
affordable.
gonna be I'm gonna be honest with you. For those of us that aren't necessarily in need and function fairly normally, I don't know
No,
anything about
you
glasses. I
don't.
don't know anything about brands. I don't know anything about fucking any. Like I know there's one inside Costco, but like, what do you do there? I
No,
don't
man.
necessarily know.
There's no way you've never seen the America's Best Owl commercial.
I
It's
mean, maybe, but like it's
it's
kind of
like
like
everywhere on TV.
I mean, I guess so, but like also there's a lot of like arthritis medications, and I don't name any of those. Like I don't struggle with that. It's not my thing. Like
No, I
I'm
mean, I
not the
guess
demographic they're targeting, but go ahead.
it's kind of like whenever you buy a new car and then you start seeing that car everywhere, right?
I see, I see.
I guess like you don't really start paying attention to the glasses commercials until you need glasses. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
like
saying?
there's yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things that people can nerd out to that become like if you want to talk about like glues and tapes, I don't know why, but like tape is my thing,
That's
bro.
it.
Like I know a shitload about a different types of tapes. I know
Yeah.
nothing about glasses. But anyways, All American is what it's called.
No, great.
America's
No.
Best.
America's Best. Yeah.
America's Best. Okay, so
America's
send it.
Best, man. Very afford. I mean, I'm sure some people have their issues with it, but very
Not
affordable.
sponsored, by the way, but we would be
No,
obviously
yeah, I
with
would.
that
I mean,
passion.
hey, I would. Hey, I would. They treated me well. I mean, I went in there. I got my eyes the exam done. I got 2 pairs of prescription glasses, and it was like $160.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know it was insane. I mean, they're not like name brand frames or anything, but still.
Who cares? So,
I don't
okay, so that
care.
like, dude, that's the thing. Like, I again, it's not. First off, I mean, I understand you want some style to your glass.
I
Like
mean,
everybody wants a little bit of style to
they
glass, but
do they do offer like Oakley and Nike and Ray-Ban and stuff, but I was like, I'll get the deal. I don't
I
really.
guess my thing is this, like I don't obviously I don't have a lifestyle where first off I need glasses, but secondly, I don't have a lifestyle where like I need a high performance frame. Like I just need
No.
the fucking lens to work. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I don't care
exactly.
how you mount them to my face.
That's what I'm saying. But so I did that actually right before Christmas, like 4 days before Christmas. I got my it went and did the test and got them ordered and everything, and then I got them 2 weeks later, essentially. I gave them a couple extra days before I called in and checked because it was Christmas and New Year's. I figured they would. But anyways, I got them like 2 weeks later. I put them on and immediately came home and just sat outside and looked at the trees. I was like, my life has changed. I could see individual pine needles on top of trees. Like I was
Yeah,
looking at them and I was like, oh my God,
so
I've
I
been
want to
missing
get
out
back.
on this forever.
I want to get back to that because I think maybe you've gone far and above what you were capable of before. Like I want to let's put a pin in that for now. But the
Yeah.
two things I want to mention first are one, did it okay, how far away are we talking? Like how quickly does it get shitty? Like how what are we talking?
Um,
Like
I mean, probably like probably like 5 to 6 feet in front of me
also
is when it
I
starts getting a little blurry.
I also have to say this like aside I'm like I was a little like you mentioned this is like I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe I think is when you mentioned glasses to me or whatever
Yeah.
that you got glasses. So first off, I was like a little embarrassed that we had never talked about this because you like I think maybe one time you were like, dude, I think like almost jokingly, like I think you were like you were at the house, you were like looking at the TV, you're like, I think my sight's getting worse. And I was like, bullshit, you know? Like it's fucking nighttime or you got something in your eye. So like I was a little embarrassed that you had like gone through not that I have to live every minute of your life, but that you had gone through this whole process of like, oh no, like the first part is admitting, right?
Yeah.
Like I need
Like,
help with this. I need glasses. And then you went and got got them checked and then you went and got the actual glasses. Like whenever you told me like, "Oh yeah, I got my glasses in. It's been great." Immediately I was it's almost like when somebody's like, "Oh, I got that liver transplant." And you're like, what the fuck? I didn't know that you even needed that. I mean, it's not that extreme, obviously,
no,
but
it's
I
definitely not
felt
that
like why
extreme.
I was like, why the hell didn't I know that he needed help? I mean, it wasn't like a drug addiction or something where like where you're like, oh, we need
No.
to support this guy. But I was just like, why did I not know that he was out there needing glasses and then he went and got him fixed? I don't know. It felt
Well,
weird to me.
I mean,
But
I
anyway,
I mean, I think it is because literally for the last like year and a half, I've just been joking about it for so much. Where like we would go to like Astros games or something, and I'd be like, "What, dude? What is that? Is it the sixth inning or the fifth?" You know what I
yeah.
mean? And it was just kind of like a joke, and I'd be like, "Dude, I need to go get some glasses." And I really did need to go get them checked, and then finally I was like, you know what? I just need to go and do it because it got to a point really where I was sitting here. When I'm at my computer, I'm fine. Like I can see everything on my computer, but I would be sitting here and like looking up and looking around and having to squint to see things. And I was starting to get like just a minor headache throughout the
Oh
day.
yeah.
Every day. It was like every single day it would hit me. And I was like, I bet it's my eyes. So I need to go get it checked out. And I did. And it's been amazing. And I think I never really mentioned it because it just kind of happened so fast. Like, and there was the
Okay. So
holidays and everything, you know?
that was my next. Oh, you mean you mean going and seeking help? It happened so fast.
Yeah, like I went
I,
and got them
I,
tested. I got my eyes checked, and they got me the glasses in 2 weeks. And there was like Christmas and New Year's, and so everybody was busy doing things, and I just didn't really tell everyone that I didn't show up to Christmas and be like, "Hey guys, Merry Christmas! I'm getting glasses." You know what I mean? You know,
Hi, I'm Randall, and I need glasses.
I need
No,
glasses. Yeah,
no, I mean my I guess, but I so it didn't come on all of a sudden. I mean, I know you said in the past, what you say, 1 year, 2 years. Like,
I
did you
think
wake
it's.
up one day and it was just like, oh, it's here, or like, how did that
Mm,
go?
no, it was. I mean, there was definitely one day where I woke up and I was like, "Why can I not see the TV from here?"
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was much more gradual than I remember. But I mean, it's probably been a little over a year, close to a year. But it's just been really when I started getting the headaches every day, I was like, I need to. Obviously, I'm not wearing them right now in the video if anyone's watching, and that's because I had them on. But then when I put the camera on to start recording, I was like, you can't even see my eyes because the reflection of The screen
Yeah,
was
that's
just blocking my eyes, and I was like, well, I don't really need them to see the screen anyways, so as long as I don't
that's gonna
focus my long vision, I'll be okay.
that's gonna be the downfall. I don't want to say downfall, but like that's the only drawback to like people that have to wear glasses for like Zoom and Teams and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Because first off, if you're real good, you can see what they're chatting in
Mm.
their glasses. You got to be careful of that, right? Because
Got to be
you'll
got
be
to
a
be
group
careful
of
what you got on
people.
your second screen too.
Everybody knows that. Like you got the whole team on one, and everybody's got their cameras on, and then immediately you're shit talking with that one close buddy in a separate chat,
Yeah.
about what's going on in the meeting.
Right.
And sometimes, reflective wise, what people will do is they'll grab stills of it and they'll blow it up, and then you're like, oh shit. But
And zoom
anyways, that's
in.
a side note. So back to what we put a pin in at a beginning, because this intrigues me a lot. Like I don't necessarily struggle with any. Thank God, knock on wood, right? I don't struggle with any vision, so I don't. In my mind, when you're talking about, I can see the pine needles in the individual pine needles in the tree. Two things came to mind immediately. One, have we overcorrected? Did you get like
Oh
fucking
man.
super sight? But also,
I don't
or
know.
was it just the fact that like it's been so long since you could see them, you didn't quite remember how good
I
your vision
think
was
it's
before?
safe to say that I have supervision now, yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So they've overcorrected.
It's
It's like
incredible.
whenever Rowan Gardner broke his arm in the
Yeah.
fucking rookie of the
Yeah.
year.
And Henry row
Oh,
and
okay.
God.
Rosenbaum, warm up, you're going in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of what it feels like. It's probably just because for so long, like tops of trees have just been kind of like a blur, you know?
Yeah.
Not necessarily like, oh my God, what is that blur? You know what I mean? But like all the pine needles blur together, the individual leaves kind of blur together. That I think like I had them on and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
So you're telling me then, I don't know, we're kind of joking about this a little bit, but so you're telling me that you think now with the glasses on that your vision is better than it was that you could last remember when it was right.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember the last time I really looked at the top of a tree and thought, "Wow, I can see individual pine needles." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I that ever really like crossed my mind, but I don't know. I mean, I also noticed this when we drove somewhere. We were on the freeway. We were driving, right? And now I could obviously like see the concrete and stuff obviously when you're
Yeah.
driving, and you can see the different colored lines from where the tires are driving through the lanes, you know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
like it's some
Yeah.
of it's darker, some of it's lighter, but with the glasses on I can see the individual rocks in the concrete while we're driving.
Bro, so okay, so what you're telling me, I think of it like this. So like think about a Bob Ross painting, okay? Like from a distance, it's beautiful because you're like, "Oh shit,"
Yeah.
like it's just beautiful. But when you get up close to it, you're like, "Oh, it's really just a bunch of smudges." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
from a distance it looks like. So I think that's
except
maybe what
it's
you were
almost kind of
experiencing.
reverse for me though. But it was like before the glasses I was like, oh, those are all just kind of like smudges, but now
Yeah.
I have the glasses on, I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
Yeah, and
You
then
know.
the next thing I was thinking of is like, so you're telling me that you went from basically not being, everything is kind of fuzzy at 5 to 6 feet, not unrecognizable, but 5 to 6 feet, it's kind of fuzzy, to where now you're telling me you can basically fucking see like smells. That's how
Yeah.
badass your sight
Yeah,
is.
I'm telling you, it's pretty dang close. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you.
Jesus.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's been pretty amazing. We're like
Uh,
driving down the road now, and I kind of do like this test now too, right? Because I've thought this is fun, where I look like over the top of my glasses. So like when we're driving, I'll be looking at a sign really far away, and I'm like, oh, nice, I can read that. I bet I can't without my glasses though. And so I'll look over my glasses, and I'm like, nope, I sure can't. You know what I mean? It's
so,
I'm literally the Velma meme of I'm my glasses. I can't
like,
see without my glass. You know,
so
that's
the
me.
other thing. So would you ever contemplate? I mean, no issues in what like you don't have any. There was no immediate drop because you wear them all the time, right? It doesn't affect your up close, right?
No,
You
no.
can. Okay.
I can see up close perfectly fine. It's
But
just
what I'm
the
saying is
distance.
if you wear them all day, you don't it doesn't hurt you to wear them to see up close.
No, they're single vision, so they only affect my far vision.
I
I don't
got
know.
you.
I don't know how they do that, but yeah,
Well,
that's how
I
it
don't know
works.
how they managed to enhance your natural fucking
Yeah,
sight. I don't either. What do you go? You went from like 20/20 to like
30
10/20? I don't know
to like
exactly how they
to like
work.
went from 20/20 to like 40/40. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know how
I'm
the
like
numbers work, but anyways, better
doubled up on each
basically.
eye. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Yeah, it's been one of the greatest things I think I've ever done. I mean, you know, you asked if there was any drawbacks. So I've had them for about 2 weeks now. I
Mhm.
think roughly 2 weeks, and the top of my ears are starting to hurt a little bit from wearing them all day. And then there's some times where like just when they're resting on the bridge of my nose, it starts to bother me. But then as soon as I stop thinking about it, then they don't bother me. You know what I mean? It's only like when I'm thinking about it when it starts to all bother me. Or if I have to like move them or something, then I obviously think about it and so then it starts to bother me. But I haven't really it doesn't like mess with my vision much anymore. The first like day or two, it took me a while to adjust. Like when I first put them on, it took me a couple hours because it kind of gave me like motion sickness when I would look around. Because
Yeah.
out of the corner of your eye, you can still see, without the glasses. And so like you're looking around and like some things feel like they're moving faster than others. It's kind of
I
weird,
mean,
but
bro, so basically what you're telling me is these are all just small prices to pay for fucking X-ray vision. That's
yeah,
it. That's what you're telling me.
it's
It's a small
basically
trade-off, dude. Stop bitching.
listen, a couple of small bothersome things to be Superman essentially. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's
Dude,
incredible. I'm no longer going to have to ask anybody, "Hey, what does that say?" ever again.
you should pick up a side gig working for TSA, just like X-raying
X-rayed.
people as they
Yeah,
walk through.
you don't even got to walk anybody through a damn scanner or
Yeah,
put a
dude.
bag through a damn X-ray machine. Just sit me up on there.
So last questions on this, then we can move on. All right. One, would
Mhm.
you ever so obviously they're new, but like would you ever go to some type of contact?
So here's my personal thing with contacts is no, I don't think I'll ever do it. But that's
Yeah.
because in my condition, I can't put them in and take them out myself.
So
Somebody would
somebody else
have
is gonna be touching your eyeball.
I already don't like touching my own eyeball. I don't want somebody else to touch my eyeball, you
See,
know?
I'm the opposite. I think it would be easier for somebody else to touch. I mean,
Mm,
I like to me, honestly, it doesn't bother me either. Like I'm not like just poking around in there, but like I feel like if somebody else were touching it, I'd be like, whatever. You know what I mean?
no, there's no I mean, obviously, I really couldn't do much about it, right? If someone
Oh
was
yeah, yeah,
like,
you're right.
if they like laid me down and put yeah, they were like, hey, we need to put your contacts in, and there's some that you can wear for like a month or something at a time or a couple months
That
at a
weirds me
time.
out. But yeah.
Um, So I mean, I don't know. For me, no, I don't really care to ever do it. Plus, I think I look awesome in glasses. It doesn't really bother me, anyways. Um, so no, I wouldn't. But I get that some people want to. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad that it's working out for you. I'm glad that you gained some additional abilities. I'm glad that you can now see the needles in the trees. That sounds like
It's been
a
great.
really kick-ass fucking death metal band. Needles in the tree.
Ironically, I got them. I got them. This is the last thing I'll say. I got them like right after we got back from Galveston, pretty much from that trip. And as soon as I put them on, I was like, these would have been awesome to have at
Nothing.
Galveston
Yes,
because I could have
yeah,
just sat out on the balcony and just like looked out at the water and seen everything, you know.
yeah.
But I mean, it was still, obviously it was still beautiful and nice. But I was just like, damn, I was like 3 days too early. You know what I mean?
Are you gonna get dude, because the number one ad, and I don't know why they're targeting me, because as I mentioned, I don't think I've ever purchased a set of legitimate glasses. I don't even buy sunglasses. I just find them and I'm like, oh, this is cool, right?
Mm.
But not like steal them. I mean legitimately find them. But anyway, so like there's a TikTok like on not TikTok, but like whatever, Facebook or whatever. Like you know how the ads pop up, whatever they are. There's always the ones with like the people with the little things that are clipping on the
Oh
glasses.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, Jesus Christ, how much marketing? If they're making $1 million a year, they're investing 850K in fucking marketing
Yeah.
and just those little TikTok clips. I don't need glasses, guys, so I hope Google's listening or Alexa or whatever, and I don't need them. You can take the ads off of me. I'm not going to purchase them. Okay.
Yeah, no, I actually have that website saved on one of my tabs on my phone just in case I want to. They have freaking like
I get
they
it.
have like themed. You can get like Hogwarts themed freaking frame, like lens covers or whatever. It's awesome.
Well, I mean that's legit, but like I'm just saying they're wasting whatever their marketing
Oh
fee
yeah,
is. They're
just to
wasting it on
target
me.
people that they don't need to. Well, I think
Yeah.
I don't know this for sure, but I think they also sell sunglasses that you can do that too.
Yeah, again, I've never Googled one sunglass at all. Like if it was a tape company, all kinds of
You
tapes.
telling
I'm
me I
gonna
can
take
put different tape
flashlight.
designs down, bro?
Fucking A, dude.
Hey, that's
Um,
like whenever they release those like different design duct tapes, you were in on that, weren't you?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Different
like the
colors,
zebra, the
different
cheetah,
textures. That's it.
blue, green, red, pink, yellow.
I like a color coding system because I can use them for different things. We don't need to go down this
That's
whole
valid. It did have a
but
valid use, but they went a little
oh yeah.
overboard, I think, on some of them.
I'm just saying that makes more sense to me than targeting me with all these clip-on
Mm.
glasses things. It's to the point where like now I won't buy them just out of principle because I've just been targeted so hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
done.
Oh, I'm over it.
Um so New Year, it's been quite some time. I was trying to think about it. When was it October or no, like
What
early November?
the last episode? It
Yeah.
was before Thanksgiving. I know that.
Yeah, so we've
It's
had
been a
like
while. It's been
kind of
about 2 months.
the season premiere, if you will, was like in early November. I mean, sorry, season finale was over
Yeah.
in early November, and then
Hmm.
the premiere we're back. So it's been at least 8 weeks, right?
Yeah, close to two
More than
months. I know
that.
that. Somewhere around
Okay.
there.
Um, so new year, new everybody always makes a resolution. I don't know. I'm not going to ask you to share that. I think that's kind of cheesy or whatever. But
Mm.
what to you is the and I don't care one way or the other. But here, okay. So I say all that to say this, like. I think resolutions are a little bit cheesy. Like I think it's great that people bring them top of mind. I think we've talked about this in the past. Like you should start a resolution whenever you're ready. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to do it at the fucking
Yeah.
beginning of the year. We've all agreed on that in the past, but one other thing that I'll mention is um, what, in your opinion, is the ideal New Year's experience? And we could talk about the night, the New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day, because for me, something fundamentally in quite some time happened that I'm scared is going to haunt me uh, moving forward. And it happened to me this year. And I can't go back because obviously you can't go back. But what in your opinion is the ideal New Year's experience? Both Eve, day of, whatever.
Um, I mean, New Year's Eve. I mean, listen, that like gap between Christmas and New Year's is like kind of the most throwaway week of all time, right? In the sense of like really no one wants to do anything, no one's going to do anything, and there's football on almost 24/7 for 7 days. And it's incredible. So part of my New Year's
Oh,
Eve
football at
experience,
that.
yeah, even
Yeah,
better. But in this
agreed.
case, New Year's Eve it was all kinds of football. It was it was some great bowl games we had. Some NFL games were going on. Um, so football is always part of my New Year's and New Year's Eve experience. But as far as like night goes, I don't like the light fireworks so much anymore. But I like
Yeah.
to go out and enjoy them if I can. That and just enjoying a drink with some people or one person or whatever. But
So, yeah. So that's what I was gonna say.
that's my New Year's Eve, and then going into New Year's Day, pretty much just wake up, watch football, and eat the generic
All
New
right.
Year's Day meal.
So two things. One, I think over the years, like obviously, when I was younger and then in college and stuff, it was like, how plastered can we get with the largest volume of people, And we would be
Yeah,
blitzed by like 10 o'clock, you know what I mean? And so
like 10
like
p.m.
that Yeah, like 10
Okay.
p.m. And then now you're just fighting to make it till 2 or whatever,
Oh,
right?
I fought to
Um,
make it to midnight this year.
oh, I haven't done it in like 10, not 10, but I would say it's
This
probably been 6 years or 7 years since I've hit
this
midnight.
this was the first year in 7 years that I stayed up until midnight for New Year's.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think it goes without saying then the perfect New Year's Eve experience has nothing to do with the actual making of midnight. I think you could still have a really good memorable time and not make it to midnight.
Mm.
Um, but I would say that so for me, like the ideal experience is like, I don't know, I no longer like the masses of like random freaking people that you're just getting drunk with. Um, one maybe or two cocktails. I want something good to eat Christmas, New Year's Eve, but not like, dips or snacks or appetizers, stuff like that. I don't want to do that. I want like one good solid meal, and like a roasted chicken with some
Mm.
veggies or something. Like I still want a good meal and then a couple of cocktails. It's not a beer night for me anymore. It's not like,
No, yeah.
oh, we're just gonna drink. I want one or two really, really good cocktails. And they can be at 9 o'clock. They could be way earlier in the night. And then you know, we get the obviously because we got kids, we got the dog, we get them down. I would say this. I don't like the sound. They're always blowing up around here. I don't like the sound of fireworks, but if I could I love them when they're off in a distance.
Yeah.
Like you remember back in the day when you would go watch them at the lake and
Yes.
like you could see them from a distance and they were beautiful with reflecting on the water and there was big open skies, but you didn't really hear them. It wasn't like they were blowing up
Mm.
right in your face.
Right.
So, so that's the ideal experience. And then obviously the next day, my whole mission in life is I get up in the morning, I start the peas,
Yep.
right? I
The
get the pork
cabbage.
working, I get the cabbage working, so that we can mid-afternoon, because football's on, right?
Yeah.
Usually give or take. So by mid-afternoon, not at lunchtime, not at dinner time, but halfway between there, we're enjoying what you should enjoy on the first day of the year because you need the money, you need the luck,
Mhm.
you need the health, right?
Yeah.
And we watch some football and then we're done by 8
Oh
o'clock. And
yeah.
by 8 o'clock,
Early.
I mean
Like in bed.
everybody's gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Like
done. You're in bed.
just asleep. Yeah.
So this year, New Year's, obviously we went and did a day visit at Galveston that Saturday, and then that Sunday was New Year's Eve, and Sunday I became deathly ill. And
Oh
so
gosh.
so Sunday, New Year's Eve, I basically for the sake of the family stayed isolated, okay?
Yeah.
And then the on the first, I was still very weak, just feverish, not feeling all that well. So I did not make
Oh no.
cabbage. I didn't make any of that. And so here's the thing: not only did we not indulge in it, but like I couldn't even like I tried to order it out. I tried to like Grubhub it, so that because Katie wasn't gonna do it. So
Dude, y'all should have let us know.
I thought about texting mom and being like, "Hey, I don't know if you guys got the stuff going on. Like, I know that's a hell of a journey, but like in my mind, listen, I know it's a superstition, but like of all the superstitions out there,
Yeah, there's not
this
one that
is
you
the
should
only one that this is the only one that I genuinely believe in because like I've never I've
not done
always
it.
been thankful for I've always been thankful for like how our years have gone and like yeah some years are
Yeah.
tougher than others but like I think that we've done a very good job of making every year genuinely better, right?
Yeah.
Life better, you're happier with your home, you're happier with your family, your family's health is better. Like I think genuinely we've done a better job of making every year better and I'm very very proud of that. But I've also never gone without the peas and the cabbage and the
Yeah.
ham. So like did I fuck it
Ooh.
up by being under the weather day one? We ate like sushi or something.
Well,
So
now
not only
listen.
are I'm getting
Here's the thing, though, is it's not really your fault in that case, though. You know.
it's not, but like
But
still like
still,
so I even kept trying to justify like this is how superstitious I was. I was like, well, let me justify this to myself. I don't know if the rules say you have to eat it day one. You just have to eat it in the new year. So like could I eat it on the second? And then I was like, or maybe if you're late, does that like give you the opposite effect? Like because you did it on the wrong day.
oh
Does
gosh.
that dude, I'm telling you, it's a mind fuck after like going through it. Um so yeah, this is the first time in like, dude, even in college, like I remember we would have like it would just be terrible, but it would be a pot of something,
Yeah.
and we would do, And so I'm pretty sure that since leaving home, I have found a way on the first, whether we hit a
To
Luby's or
do
a
it.
damn Golden Corral or something, to eat it every single first day of the year. And, that's 10 years, that's 15 years or 20 years. No, not 20 quite yet, but
Like
15
20.
years plus,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So this is the first year, and I'm worried about what that's gonna do.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah. It
I
feels
mean, you know
weird.
me, man. I'm a big superstitious guy in general, so when it comes to like where and when I watch sports, if my team's winning and I'm sitting in a certain spot, and I don't necessarily get as crazy as like wearing a certain thing, except for my hats. I do get superstitious about the hats, but I gotta like sit in a certain spot, watch with certain people type thing. But that's yeah, I think the New Year's meal is like one of the top ones. But again, that's because kind of like you said, I just never have missed it. That's just
Well,
what we've always done.
and I think here, okay, so that's the point. Like, I think that's what adds another level of like complexity to the superstition itself. Number one, I never, I never questioned it. Like, I never. First off, why question it? It's not like it's in my mind. Like, okay, so you want me to eat some cat? I fucking love cabbage. You want me to eat some
Mm,
cabbage, some black eyed peas, some badass ham, or what? Some type of roasted meat or whatever?
yeah,
Hell yeah! Like, so I never questioned it. First off, second, we always did it. Third, I always just kept the tradition because it gives you something to do on the first day of the year, and that's your
yeah.
focus, right? But
But
what really
again,
tripped me out,
that week is just pointless in between Christmas and New Year's, and that's just kind of what you look forward to. At least for me,
like
I kind of look forward to that ham.
me too, like the other, but here's the thing that really, 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 really solidifies the fact that it's a true superstition, is because I know people, right? I'll throw our sister in here as well, that doesn't necessarily love any of those foods.
But
Okay.
she doesn't.
But she has to do it because of
Yeah.
the superstition, right? And I have friends that are the same. Like, I'm not going to eat a pea till you save my fucking life. And I'm like, what about Jan 1? And they're like, oh, well, I mean, I got to mow them down on Jan
I don't
1,
understand the hate for black eyed peas, man. I
That
love black eyed peas.
I mean, obviously, very, beets and cucumbers. We've done this exhaustively, but the two, like, those things are all delicious. I would eat them more. It's kind of like the green bean casserole. We had this conversation last year.
Yeah.
Why the hell aren't we doing that in April? Because we should.
Yeah.
But I feel like those are things that the fact that people go out of their way to. I mean, grocery stores will be empty of black eyed peas.
Yeah.
You can't find a damn cabbage to save your life, you know? So like the fact that people go that far out of their way, and people that historically will not eat those foods will joyfully indulge on January
Yeah.
1, that to me really is what solidifies the superstition. And so in my
Mm.
mind, I'm like, oh shit, well, if people are willing to go to those great lengths, or people are willing to go way outside of their comfort zone in order to consume them because of the underlying themes of it, then I have to do it as well. And this is the first year that I've missed in probably that I could ever remember.
So did you indulge at all in a different day, or did you talk yourself out
No,
of it?
no, I did not, because I talked
So
myself out of it because I was like,
at the moment we're 15 days deep and you have not had your New Year's Day meal yet.
no, I have not. So I
Now it's
could
definitely
probably.
too late.
You think so? Don't do this to me, dude.
Now
I'm
I wouldn't.
already, dude. The whole foundation of my the structural integrity of my mental stability as it comes to success in 2024 is built upon eating those three or four things day one. Don't fuck me now because it's 15 days late.
I mean, listen, you can do it still because it's a good meal, regardless.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would say like this is specifically for this
I
out
mean, but how,
loud. I don't know.
knock on wood, but like how I don't want to say, like, how much of a coincidence would it really be if for some reason, God forbid, we fell on some type of hard times this year? You know what I mean? Like that, it's just shitty to me. I would blame it on that 100%, regardless of if this was in the works or not. God forbid. I would just
Yeah.
blame it on that. And it's fat.
Well,
I know we're
it,
joking about it, but like it's weird how
no,
much
man.
it weighs on my
I
mind.
think I think anything bad that may, hopefully not. I don't hope anything to happen bad to y'all or anything, but if anything bad does happen, I think at least you kind of have that as a back, like on the back, the back room where you
Yeah.
can just be like, that's because I didn't eat my damn meal.
Yeah, I know. Not that I need an excuse, but I mean, it'll definitely give me a never again. Like I can never miss
Yeah.
again if that's the case.
No,
Also, just saying, we're 15 days in. I've had a dry, slow cough for 15 days. So
that health is looking bad.
that is. I mean, I don't know what kind of luck I need. I really don't even want to talk about it anymore, but I had to bring it up because it played into my
It's a big one.
ideal. The other thing too, I feel like there's nothing better than like most people on New Year's Eve, right? They do a little overindulging. Um,
Yeah, I can tell you a
so
little bit about that.
so then I've thought about, is the reason that we eat all these things on Jan 1 because it's like, hey, you guys are real fucking hungover, so let's get as
It's-
much gassy food in you
yeah,
as we possibly can so that we just bubble the devil out of your souls. You know what
that
I
could be
mean?
true too. A lot of grease from the pork, and a lot of just
Or is it like
cabbage and for the gas.
Or is it like diamonds? Like there was, diamonds are a whole, I mean, I don't want to break anybody's bubble here because they do hold value, but like diamonds are not a valuable rock. It was invented by a man who had an abundance. Okay. He was like,
Yeah,
we need marketing created diamonds. I think they did the same exact thing for cabbage. They were like, Jesus, we got these truckloads of these cabbage. What are we going to do? She's like, I don't know. Just tell people if you eat them, they'll have money. When? Well, I got them now. It's Christmas time. Nobody wants them. Jan 1. We need to get rid of them. Jan
yeah.
1. They're like, all
And
right.
you get
So
rid of them
on
at the end
day
of the
one,
quarter.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, no, look, Christmas is over. I've got this excess amount of cabbages. And they were like, yeah, if you eat them, you get money. And I think
Yeah,
that's maybe what went into it.
that
Right?
could
Because that's
also.
what
I mean, that
you,
could have
you get.
played a part. I can see it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no. So this year in particular, I did stay up until midnight. I was out watching some fireworks. I really apparently there was a firework ban in our area, so like residents couldn't really do that. Like cities
Oh,
could put them on, but like
oh,
residents technically weren't allowed.
a ban.
Oh no, you thought I said banned?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know how the fuck that would work, but I'm in.
I'm
Carry
kind of
on.
yeah, that'd
I'm
be
into it.
awesome. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Is it
Um,
like is it like the Siberian, what is it? Trans-Siberian Orchestra
so,
Christmas lights, but in fact it's a band with fireworks. Anyways, continue. So
yeah,
there was a
that
band.
listen, this is something we need. All our good ideas come out on this podcast, man.
Bro,
Um,
check the box for episode 1 of the new year, but go
I'm
ahead.
telling you. Uh, so anyways, I was out like really listening to fireworks, and you talk about overindulging a little bit. Our neighbors are also maybe just I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna condescend, I guess, or anything, but uh, our neighbors started shooting guns.
Mhm.
Not just pistols. I'm talking about like automatic rifles.
Oh.
And there was children there also that you could hear because they were the ones lighting the fireworks that I was watching, and then we started hearing guns, and so I was like, "Do I really want to spend my New Year's Eve calling the cops on somebody for shooting gun?" Because listen, I'm not against gun. I'm pro gun. Don't get me wrong here by any means.
Yeah.
I think anybody has the right to own a firearm to a degree, a certain maybe not automatic rifles, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
To a degree, and there's a time and a place for it, and it's not on New Year's Eve, especially when there's children around. Let's just light fireworks. Don't shoot your guns on New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
Let's go
also
ahead.
also I'm a firm believer in, yeah, I'm super supportive of the right types of guns for recreational use, for hunting, things like that.
Yeah.
Um and also even for, you want to go out and you want to have fun with them like in a controlled environment. However, one thing that infuriates me is this is no longer the wild wild west where you're like, let's celebrate by popping
Yeah.
off some shots. First off, it's wasteful. Second off, it's not responsible regardless of condition. And I could almost like I almost assure you that like the purpose of fireworks is the display itself. There is no display.
Yes.
It's a loud noise. Like I just said, for me, I like to see them from a distance because they're
Yeah.
pretty. I still don't want to hear them. If there were such thing as silent fireworks, I would be completely in. So
Yes.
gunshots would be completely out for me. In
Yeah.
fact, I almost wish gunshots were silent. There's nothing. I don't get any benefit from the loudness of it. People are like, oh,
Silencers
feel
should
the
be
power.
required.
I mean,
Silencers should be
obviously, there's
required.
there's some give or take with that, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, no, I
Um,
know.
but yeah, so I would be out on that. I don't know if shooting in celebration. I'm a more of
No,
like a
let's not
shoot
do
for
that.
sport, because you enjoy it, but it shouldn't be in means of celebration.
Especially in a drunken state. Let's not whip out the
Yes,
guns when you're drunk,
around children.
and even more so around children. Yes, let's not
In,
do that,
in
please.
in what I would say is, I mean, obviously it's a little more rural of an area, but it's not like
Yeah,
it's not.
it's not like I'm in a neighborhood, so like it's not like I hear it all, people shoot guns around here all the time kind of randomly
Yeah.
because usually they're like sighting in their gun for hunting season or something, right?
Mhm.
But like that's just a little different for me. And like we're out enjoying the fireworks and listening and watching, and then you just hear guns going off and you're like, I feel unsafe now. I want to go
Yeah.
inside. And it's not cuz like I'm worried they're going to run over here and shoot me. It's more about the fact of like, like you're saying, people shoot them up into the air, you know?
Well, not
And like
only
you don't
that,
know
but I
where it's going
mean,
to come down.
you just spray in random directions, and it's like, look, yeah, it's an unnecessary thing.
It's
I
very
don't find
unnecessary.
it to be. It puts me in a mindset of like maybe I'm not even uncomfortable, but I just get very frustrated with like why.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
I know what ammunition costs. I know what that
Yes.
leads to. Like I also know what that
Exactly.
leads to because here's what's inevitably going to happen, right? So you're firing off random shots. You're eventually going to set that sucker down. It's still loaded, right? That causes a whole bunch of other problems, right? It's just a 100% unnecessary. You carry the gun for one particular purpose, right? If you're going to put it into that target, you're going to put it into that animal, right? If it's a self-defense thing, whatever. Like it shouldn't be used recreationally, in my opinion.
No,
But
exactly. And then one other thing you mentioned real quick here before we get into the ending of the episode. You mentioned going to watch the fireworks on the lake because
mhm.
we definitely did that at some point, right? I remember
I
doing that.
Yeah, I have a number of times. I don't know if I've ever been with you or with our parents, but I used to have friends that had places on the lake we would go watch. We had friends that would we would launch the boat and go out there if they
Right.
didn't live on the lake. And then, I obviously once I got in high school, I had buddies that had boats, so we would go and watch, but like I don't know if
Right.
we all ever went together, but I'm pretty sure that you have.
Okay,
Why? What's your question?
because I remembered going out there and what, but I couldn't remember if it was New Year's Eve or if it was 4th of July. And I I like
It
I
might
was
be 4th of July.
it might be because I was looking this year. I was like, I wonder if we could go out to the lake and watch like a display, and there was nothing. And I was like, I feel like they do fireworks on the lake, but now that I'm thinking about it, 4th of July makes a lot more sense because
It
people are
does
going
because
to be
it's
out in the lake.
summertime.
You
Yes.
know,
So I think actually, to be honest with you, I think there's both. I think
that's what I thought.
the bigger one is
It's,
July 4th because it's
yes,
summertime, it's warm, and
yeah,
everybody can be outside. And then in New Year's they do it as well, like certain I think it's like certain marinas and stuff that do it.
okay.
Um,
The one they do for 4th of July is like off the dam, though, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But I mean, I do remember being like super like ice cold. But
Yeah,
I
me
remember
too.
being warm. I remember being warm a lot of the time, which makes me think is it 4th of July.
Well,
But I
but
know for a fact I've been cold on the lake
you
watching it
say
too.
that though, but we've had some warm New Year's, man. We
Oh, that is
have,
true. That is true. Yes.
so I mean it could be either one. But I know they do it for 4th of July. I do know 100% that. But I was just
I would.
looking this year and I was like, it just got to be something we can go watch for New Year's. And
Yeah.
there wasn't anything for the lake and that blew my mind.
I will say this. I remember under both circumstances swimming afterwards. So if that puts it in perspective, it wasn't so cold that it wasn't swimmable.
Yeah.
So in both, so it must have been a warm couple of New Years and at least 4th of July. Obviously, it's plenty of swimmable, but
You know what
yeah,
I vividly remember one New Year's Eve being at one of our friends' house, not one of my our parents' friends' houses on the lake,
okay,
and their neighborhood was lighting off fireworks. I remember that very
yes,
vividly.
yeah. It also depends on what side of the lake you were on, right?
Yeah.
So, and
Hmm.
they had separate, but yeah, it's probably for both, but like come to think of it, 4th of July, I think they have like
That
big
would be the big one.
publicized, like, yeah, come
Yeah.
out and see them. Whereas New Year's, it's like this marina is going to do one, or this group of neighborhoods does a lot, or they go out on
Yeah.
an island and launch them or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad we cleared that up a little bit in my brain. All right, we need to get down to the well no, we get into the WWYBD first, right?
Yeah,
So man, I
WWYBD. So
almost went right past that.
the first WWYBD of the year. Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
I'm gonna let you go first.
All right, so mine might be and I think there are a couple. I actually saw one. But do you know what a supper club is?
No.
All right, dude. So I think it's like a northern, I don't want to say northern, but like a Midwestern thing for sure, right? So like you know, I guess like Indiana,
Minnesota.
Chicago, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin and Illinois.
Minnesota.
Yeah. So they got these things called supper clubs, and it's basically an excuse to get like decent food cheap and get really, really shitty. It's like brandy old fashions and freaking like just anyways, it's called a supper club. And they have like home cooking, right? It's like fried fish and like chicken fried steak and casseroles and shit like that. Anyway, this to me is a supper. So sometimes when you're waiting on a table, supper clubs get fucking slammed, balls to the wall. So when you're waiting on a table at the supper club, sometimes they got an indoor fireplace or whatever, but they're wood fires. And all the way, by the way, every single supper club that I've ever physically been into is either a like a straight up legitimate bar, or they were built in like the '60s, fucking untouched. Everything's still the same as when they were built in the '60s. So sitting in those like wood armed uh you know, freaking flower print, you know, velour, if you will, couches, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
That are wrapped in plastic around a wood fireplace as I'm waiting on a table in the supper club. Because it's cold as shit outside, but it's super warm in there. Everything's a little dusty and a little like stale. This is the beer that I'm drinking while I'm waiting on that table.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you got?
I have a very vivid memory of me when I was younger, uh, high school, I guess. I don't know if I should actually say that out loud or not, but I was in high school and we were riding around out on a four wheeler with a few buddies of mine out through his deer lease. We weren't drinking this, but we were drinking something that tasted a lot like licorice. Okay, and for some reason, it just gives me the same vibes. It doesn't taste near as bad as that stuff did, because we were young. That's all we kind of had at the time. But I just get the same vibes because it was like chilly outside. We were actually driving through his deer lease to go to one of our other friends' house to get in their hot tub because it was so cold. But anyways, I'd be doing something like that. It's definitely cold weather outside, but I'm not like by a fire because I
No?
can't see myself being like around a fire, being warm drinking this. I'm gonna be cold drinking this. I don't know why, but I'm cold on a four wheeler out in the middle of nowhere.
One other thing, okay, so I'll give you that. The one other thing that I will say, um, it reminds me, because I know we're about to get into ratings, it reminds me of a less flavorful, less enjoyable Bohemian Black Lager.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
know I know that's not necessarily a porter that Shiner puts out, but like if you took not trash talking, but if you took every aspect of a Bohemian Black Lager, like if you took all of its ratings in my head and reduced each one of them by 2 points, that's this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty close. Um, all right, yeah, let's get into the ratings here. I'll go first for this one. You want me to?
send it. Go ahead.
Um, I didn't think it was horrible. It's not my favorite, but entry I have a 4. Aftertaste I have a 4. I don't really get what you were talking about at the beginning. It's kind of level playing field throughout for me. Body I do have a 3. I don't think it's the richest, nicest tasting porter. Color I have a 5. I mean, it looked incredible. The head was incredible on it. Bitterness I have a 3. I actually think it's not as bitter as it should be for a porter. Um, and I'm kind of on, I mean, when I want a porter, I want a little bit of bitterness. Kind of like with an IPA.
Yeah.
When I get an IPA, I want that bitterness, Uh, acidity, I was between a 4 and a 3. I'm giving it a 4 because it wasn't horrible. It wasn't the best. And then fizz, I have a 3. Honestly, could be a 2, but a little benefit of the doubt here. I had some potatoes for dinner, so I don't know. That brings my total to a 26, though. I don't know if I would buy again, but if someone offered me one, I would not say no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so before I get into ratings, I was gonna say, like, as you went through your explanation, my head was in a very similar space, but my scale was drastically different.
Yeah.
Like the justification was not in all cases, but very, very close. I don't want everybody to be like, "Oh, here they go, right out of the gate."
Right out of right into the
New
new
Year,
season.
they're exactly the same. I don't think that's necessarily the case. So I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. I think my scale was just a little bit different, but my justification is very similar. Back to would I buy it again? Probably not. Beautiful can, beautiful branding.
Oh yeah.
Would I buy it again? Probably not. I don't think it's going to be a fridge sitter. Like I'm not gonna like I would drink. I'll finish off what's left in there, and I would definitely drink it if somebody gave it to me. But I'm also not gonna tell everyone about it.
Yeah, you know what? I would buy it again for the can for New Year's.
Yes.
I think.
Okay.
Genuinely, I would, just because it would be cool to like. I think it'd be cool to like take to some friends and be like, "Hey, man, let's rip one of these for New Year's." It's a New Year's can.
There's a big difference between like I know this is gonna sound disrespectful, but like there's nothing wrong with it's an all right beer.
Yeah.
Like that to me is like somebody comes over and they're like, "Hey, what?" Like they're gonna look at the can, they're gonna like, "Oh shit, man, what is this?" And I'm gonna be like, "It's a porter, it's all right,
Yeah.
like it's fine." I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be like, "Oh no, you need to I need to get that out of here."
Oh,
Or,
yeah, no.
or the old joke and wink. Oh, bro, it's delicious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
No,
do
it's
one of
not
those.
that. Not that.
But anyway, so on entry, like I said, man, I get those weird Guinness Zero vibes. Entry, I have a 2. It does finish a little bit better, so I have a 3, right? Middle of the road for aftertaste. So it finishes in aftertaste with a 3. Body, I have a 2. Very similar. Like there's something that needs to make it a little fuller, that needs to make it a little thicker, coat a little more in the mouth. Color, I have a 5. I think honestly, almost could be in my opinion.
Yeah,
it has
it
a
was
perfect color, a perfect head. The head could have been just slightly thicker, but if it were any thicker, it would be the Guinness Zero. So I don't want it to be that way. So yeah, I've got it at a 5. Color was dead on. Bitterness, same exact thing. I think it's a 2 for me. Because again, in my mind, a 3 is just enough, nothing to write home about, but it doesn't need an improvement. So I do think that bitterness is at a 2. It could have used a little more for me. Same with acidity, it's at a 2. Fizz, I also have at a 2. Because it's a little below what I think is middle of the road for a porter. So I come to a total score of 18. So I think my justifications are very, very similar. Maybe I was a little more rigid in my scaling, but we're not as aligned on the number for this one.
Yeah.
18 versus 26, but 18 is what it comes in at.
Yeah, I mean, mine could have dropped. I mean, we're still not very close. Mine could have dropped a couple numbers, but regardless, yeah, pretty similar reasoning for sure. All right, well, it is that point in the podcast where I'm gonna tell you to go follow us on social media, on TikTok and Twitter at Off the Tap Pod, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Off the Tap Podcast.
Yeah, as a reminder, just because it's a new year doesn't mean there needs to be a new you. Just do better.